Welcome to Small Biz Mama, episode 30. Can I claim my home office? Okay, so I get this question a lot because there's a ton of misinformation out there about home offices, who can claim them, who can't claim them, are they an audit flag, what can you claim, all sorts of stuff. And so we're going to go through all of that stuff right now. Okay, so first off, a legal home office deduction is not going to be any more of a red flag than anything else on your tax return. There were audit flags in like the 1970s for home offices. They are no longer an audit flag. If you are legally taking your home office, which will deduct how you do that, this is not going to cause you to get audited. Okay, so I think that is like step number one, I think, which is really important. Okay, so I wanted to deal with that first. Okay, so second of all, let's talk about who can claim a home office deduction. So you can claim a home office deduction if you own a business, okay, and that business is a sole proprietorship, a partnership, or an S corporation. Now, if you are a partnership or an S corporation, it's going to look a little bit different than if you are a sole proprietorship. Okay, but basically those three types of businesses can claim them. Okay, in order to claim a home office, you must have a location in your home that is regularly and exclusively used for business. Okay, so what does that mean? So regularly, according to the IRS, you must use a specific area of your home for business on a regular basis. Incidental or occasional use is not regular use. Okay, that's all it says. Okay, so regularly used for business. Okay, now, exclusive, this is very well defined. It has to be a space in your home that is not used for anything else. It can only be used for your business. So you cannot use you can't use your dining room table and write off your living room. You can't have a space that is sometimes your office and sometimes a guest room. Now, you can use a portion of a room that is separately identifiable as your office. Okay, that's okay. And it doesn't have to have like a partition. But, like if there is a portion of the room that's clearly, this is the office section of your room, that's okay. Like you can do that. That's just fine. If I have a lot of people like, well, I don't have a whole room that I can devote to that. That's fine. Can you devote a part of a room and say this is exclusively used for business? It is helpful if you partition it off. And, if you've watched some of my episodes, you see that I have this screen that I use for some of my recordings. That if you get something like that and say, I'm using this to partition off my space, that's an even better argument. Not necessary, but again, everything with the IRS is, form over substance, right? And so if you can, say like, hey, look, I've even blocked this off that this is my space, then that's great. That's going to help even more. Okay. So they kind of give an example in the publication. I'll link the publication in the show notes at smallbizmama.com for episode 30. They use the example of an attorney that uses their den, to do legal briefs and tax returns, and then their family also uses the den. Then that's not exclusive use. And I've had people ask me, can I have another location and write off a home office? So according to the publication, you can, and there's actually, it's kind of cool if you download the publication, there's this really cool chart on page 4 that kind of walks you through, like, do you do this? Yes or no? Do you do that? Yes or no? And it'll kind of lead you through. If it's your principal place of business and you have no other place of business, you have regular exclusive use, you're good. If there is another place of business, but you use your home office to meet with clients, customers, patients, etc., then yes, you can take a home office. Even if you don't meet with patients, clients, or customers, if you have a separate structure, then the deduction's allowed. Okay, so if it's your principal place of business, check, you're good. If it's not your principal place of business, but you meet with clients there, check. Now, here's the thing that's kind of interesting. I don't think it says anywhere in the publication, and I might have missed it, but it doesn't talk about meeting with them in person. Okay. So it's kind of interesting. Does it say? I'll have to look to see, but I don't believe it actually refers to meeting with clients in person. I meet with my clients in my home office all the time, but it's all virtual, right? So I'm using Zoom and Skype and Hangouts and all sorts of different things to meet with clients. So, but it's interesting. There's actually discussions about, place to meet with clients and separate structures. And so you physically meet with them on your premises. So it does say it. Okay. So yeah. So unfortunately, but I know most of you, right, that are listening to this, you don't have a location for, you don't have another location other than this. So your home office becomes your default principal place of business. Okay. So that's one thing. The other thing too is if you have, if you have a retail location, but you have no place to do paperwork, you may also be able to take a home office. Okay. So again, you just kind of have to look to see what are you doing in that location. Okay. So regular and exclusive use. Okay. It's easy if it's your principal place of business. If it's not, there's a couple other questions that you need to deal with. All right. So how do you actually do this? Like how do you pay for things from your home office? Do you reimburse yourself? Like, how does this work? Okay, so you would pay all your personal expenses personally. Okay, you should always pay your personal expenses out of your personal accounts. If you are a sole proprietorship, then what you're going to do is you're going to keep track of things like your mortgage interest or your rent, your real estate taxes, your utilities. You are not going to reimburse yourself for those things out of your business, but what you're going to do is you're going to fill out the form 8829, which lists all of these things. You're going to put all of your expenses on that form, attach it to your Schedule C, but no money is going to change hands, okay, between your business and your personal. Unfortunately, that's just how it works. Now, if you are a partnership or you are a S corporation, then what you would do is you would reimburse yourself for the costs. Now, with an S corporation, if you do this for you, okay, then you're also going to have to do this for your employees. You would have what's called a qualified plan, and you would submit your expenses for your home office on a regular basis. So what does that look like? You would want to put together an expense report for your S corporation, just like if you worked for somebody else, right? So, if you own an S corporation, you can reimburse yourself for mileage. If you pay for anything out of pocket, you can reimburse yourself for that. and you can reimburse yourself for your home office. Just remember that if you are doing this for yourself, okay, you're probably going to have to do this for your employees as well if they're working from home. Okay, so kind of keep this in mind. This is different than renting space from yourself. Okay, because essentially what you're doing here is you're saying the business has no other place for me to work, and so the business is reimbursing me for my office, right, for my costs at home. And so again, this is mortgage interest, real estate taxes, insurance, utilities, repairs, and also internet. Okay, so this can be a really nice little deduction, but what you're going to do is you're going to take the square footage of your space that you're using regularly and exclusively for your business, and you're going to divide that by the square footage of your house. Okay, so let's say your office is 200 square feet, your home is 2,000 square feet, that's 10% of your house. So then what you would do is you'd look at your mortgage statement and you'd say, okay, this is how much my interest is on my mortgage. So 10% of that, 10% of my real estate taxes when those are paid, 10% of my insurance when that's paid, 10% of my utilities last month, 10% of any repairs I had on the house in general, or 100% of any repairs I had to the office. Okay, and you would add all that up and you would put that on your reimbursement sheet. Okay, and you would submit that on a regular basis. You can do it monthly, you can do it quarterly. You could do it annually, but I think that's going to get messy, right, if you only do it annually. Plus it's nice to get the money on a regular basis. Now, if you do it that way, then this is not taxable income to you. Whereas if you rented space, right, if your business rented space from you, then you would have to include that as income on your taxes, and you would have to treat it like a rental. In this case, you don't treat it like a rental. You are essentially getting reimbursed for your expenses. Okay, so I think it's a nicer way to do it, right? It's an easier way to do it. It potentially reduces your taxes more than if you did it as a rental. So I like this. I like this a lot. Okay, anytime we can get some tax-free income out of our business, that's a good thing. Okay, so again, you can do this as a sole proprietorship, you can do this as an S corp or partnership. It's just the form looks a little bit different as far as actually moving money or not, and which forms you're filling out to do this. Okay, so you might be wondering, okay, so if I have an S corporation, and I know many of you do, how do I pay myself for this? Like, how do I reimburse myself? So what you would do is you can either write a check from your business account, or you can include it as a reimbursement as part of your payroll. Okay, so either one works just fine. So I know the payroll company that we use Gusto for our payroll. What you would do is you would just put in your paycheck, there's a little line for reimbursements, and we just use that. Okay, and it works really, really well. So that's really it. People ask me, what kind of documentation do you need to have? Really you need to have your office set up, right? And you want to make sure that it's a bona fide office. And then you just want to make sure that, you keep track of how much you're paying for your electric bills, right? Now, for me, that's really easy. I pay it all electronically. It says, Eversource on my bank statements. I've got Eversource for my gas for my house. That's easy. Repairs and maintenance, you would need to keep receipts for. For your mortgage interest, you can get that, from your mortgage company. That's pretty easy to pull up. So you just want to make sure that you can get the justification when you need it and that it's something that's there. Okay. So, again, this isn't, a lot of this is not very difficult because we have ready access to all the information that we need, right? So a lot of times our real estate taxes and our insurance are paid out of our mortgage, right? So that's really easy. Now, it's not the escrow amount, it's the actual amount paid to your insurance company and your town for your real estate taxes, okay? So, and again, those things, you can go into your escrow and you can figure out when those things are paid, okay? It's either quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. It just depends on where you live, okay? So let me know if you have any questions about this. We're going to link the IRS guide. We're going to link the publication. If you have an S Corp and you need payroll for your S Corp, we'll put a link to Gusto in the show notes as well, because they're a great payroll company. And, if you sign up under me, then you'll get access to my account rep, and they'll take really good care of you. All right. So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that gives you some clarity. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. All right, mamas, thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for telling people about the show. It's super helpful. Take care of yourself and take care of each other.
Thank you for listening to Small Biz Mama with Kristen Ingram. If you'd like to learn how to create more margin in your life, please visit us at smallbizmama.com. That's smallbizmama.com.